Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Anime Freak here, and before the video gets moving, I must apologize. I've been getting over a cold lately, so any sniffling and coughing you hear, I'm sorry, I can't control it, but I've been hacking like there's been no tomorrow. I've been really sick lately, so, just getting over it, and still got a lot of stuff in my lungs trying to hack up, so just want to get that out of the way. I apologize for it, but there's not much I can do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm making this video because today, as I'm recording this, it's 9:32 a.m. on November 24th, Thursday, last Thursday of November, which means for us in the States, it's Thanksgiving. Now, what is Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is a traditional holiday celebrated in the United States. I know Canada has one and Mexico has one. Ah, creeper! I don't care about Canada and Mexico. They both have their own respective holidays. All I'm talking about right now is the United States Thanksgiving, because that's where I live and that's what I celebrate. So, yeah, Canada has theirs in October, and I just don't give a shit about Mexico. Nothing against Mexico, but everything against Mexico. Alright, don't care. I'm focusing on the United States right now, because today's the United States Thanksgiving. So, let's get started. On this day, Thanksgiving, for those of you who don't live in the United States, it's a day we give thanks for everything we have. Now, this tradition was started back in the 1600s with the Pilgrims and Indians wanting to do a celebration together because, one, there was a lot of conflict between the two, and two, the winter there was so horrible that each group of people lost so many that when summer came around and or spring came around and there was a huge harvest and so much food, they wanted to celebrate because all winter there was barely any food and they could barely survive. And that's what was happening to their people. They were starving to death. So it became a tradition. Now, turkey, our main dish, the main bird at Thanksgiving that we eat, was nowhere to be found at the original Thanksgiving. Now, they probably had it, but there's no real historical evidence of it. And, if they did, it wasn't the main dish. It's like popcorn. They more than likely had popcorn at the first Thanksgiving. But it was more than likely mixed with water and mashed down into a weird, mushy paste. Yeah, the Native Americans didn't eat popcorn like we eat popcorn. In fact, the main proteins at the original Thanksgiving were probably rabbit, lobster, because back then lobster was thought of as a poor man's food. In fact, all the way up through the 60s it was. Lobster was very cheap and very plentiful. It's only lately that it's become extremely expensive and highly, regarded as a fancy dish. But lobster, duck, deer, and probably some turkey. But again, it wasn't the main star. Now, excuse me. So, that's pretty much it. They probably did have pies, but they're not pies like we know. Not pumpkin pie or pecan pie or apple pie. They probably did have apple fruit pies, but it was more like mincemeat pie and pot pies, like chicken and veal and beef and stuff like that. And probably, just those random pies. Ooh, I got a creeper audience. One of those random pies that, had random meat stuffed in it. So that's pretty much what the first Thanksgiving was like, and we've been doing it ever since then. So on this day where we give thanks for everything we have, I'd just like to bring up that right now, just because you're watching my stupid video and you have the ability to watch it, doesn't mean everyone does. So please remember that on this day, there are some people out there who don't have. Who don't have food, who don't have a house, who don't have what you have. And be thankful for what you do have, because it could go fairly quickly. And trust me, I know. Okay, I honestly do know. This last year I've been through has been hell. So I know something about losing stuff quickly. Nothing's permanent. So, with that said, today we give thanks. And I'd like to list all 5 things in my life that I am grateful for, that I am thankful for, that I am glad to have in my life. Now, family will not be on this list because, of course, I'm thankful for my family. They're number 1 on the list constantly. But I figured I'd leave them off these 5 things, out of these 5 things. Because that's a given to me. Family is the most important thing in your life. Because no one's going to take care of you other than your family. You have friends, you have co-workers, you have acquaintances. But when it comes down to it, the one people you can always constantly rely on is family. And sometimes family lets you down. Sometimes family betrays you. And sometimes you get into arguments with your family. But you will always have them there. And no matter what happens, they will be there for you. So starting with number 5 on my list of top 5 things. Number 5 is food. I'm thankful for food. You really have no idea. I mean, I love food. There's no 2 ways around it. I am a cook. I love food. Food is the greatest thing in the world to me. And I love it. So, yeah, I love all facets of food. I love it all. It's all yummy to me. Like this pie, this chicken, this beef. Oh, God, I love steak. This fish. I love fish. Oh, it's a salmon. This baked potato. I love food. It is the greatest thing in the world to me. I love cooking it. I love looking at it. I love eating it most of all. I am a chef by trade. I love food. But that's one of those necessities. You have to have food. You can't not have food. But I know there are people who don't have food, so that's why I'm thankful to have it, period. So moving on to number 4. Well, number 4. Gotta think about that for a second. It's you. Yes, you, audience, ladies and gentlemen. You, the internet. The people who spread memes and awesome videos and porn. Putting that off to the side. Yes, internet, you. You're awesome. And why are you awesome? Because you are awesome. You're you. I'm thankful for the internet because it shows that I'm not the only one out there when it comes to being a brony, when it comes to liking weird, odd things. It's just a big, giant, connective world that shows that there's other people out there like you who like what you like, who like to do what you like. That there's talented artists out there who make amazing videos, amazing music, amazing things. And don't have to be charged for what they're doing, don't have to charge for what they're doing, and just put it out there for you to view for free. Well, you do need an internet subscription, but you get my point. So yes, internet, it's you. Number 4 is you. You rock. And I'm glad that beyond all the trolling and the hate, it's a place where we can do what we want, say what we want, be who we want, make what we want, and no one can tell us we can't. All they can say is, you suck, troll face, lol, can I has cheeseburger. So yeah, moving on to number 3. Number 3 is, of course, my freaking namesake, anime and manga. I love them. I'm thankful for them. They are huge facets of my life. They are just a huge part of it. You know, when I was in 6th grade, I got introduced to manga for the first time. There was a series called Desert Coral, one of my favorite series of all time. I own all 3 books. There needs to be more books in the series. And I fell in love with it. Now, I knew about anime beforehand, but I knew what it was called. I knew it was anime. In fact, my first anime series I ever watched was Tenchi Muyo. Well, all the Tenchi series. Sailor Moon, all of Sailor Moon that showed, plus all the stuff that didn't show, because Tanami canceled it because some bitchy group of mothers got pissed off because there was 2 lesbian characters in it, so they went all Christian Crusaders on it. Fuck you. So, Sailor Moon, Outlaw Star, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, the original Gundam, Gundam G, which is possibly the best and my favorite Gundam of all time, Gundam Unicorn, which is kind of kick ass, even though it's about unicorns. Oddly enough, very few unicorns in the series. You lied, Gundam. But those are what my childhood was made on. Oh, and Gundam Seed. Can't forget Gundam Seed. And, you know, I picked up manga, and what really started me was I went online to order the other 2 manga books, 2 and 3 for Desert Coral. And I did. But they sent me 3 of Desert Coral and 2 of Chrono Crusade. And I love Chrono Crusade. I own all of Chrono Crusade. I own all of Desert Coral. And that's what put me down the manga path. Then I met Mao. Now, his real name's not Mao, it's something else, but he doesn't like me using his real name on the internet. So I'm just going to call him Mao. I met Mao in 8th grade, but we'll go into that a little bit later. So number 2 on this list of things that I'm thankful for. Comic books. Those of you who don't know me, I'm telling you right now, I'm a huge comic book fan. Those of you who do know me, I'm a gigantic comic book fan. I love comic books. I love all facets of them. I love Marvel, DC, Image, Black Horse, Variant, and all the things. I love all comic books. I read them all. I have a 70 gigabyte folder filled with comic books on my desktop right now. Of all different types, Marvel, DC. I have them all nicely sorted and stuff. It's huge. Tons of comic books. I own a collection of physical comic books. Now, that collection is kind of small, but I started that one much more recently. The crown jewels of my collection so far, though, probably, well, number 1 on the list is the Giant Size Annual, run Giant Size Annual Spider-Man from the 80s, the wedding edition, where he marries Mary Jane. That's the big one. It's the most expensive out of my collection, and it's probably one of the oldest. Second on that list is probably an original run, first run copy, issue 1 of Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. One of my favorite probably the best out of all Superman stories. I think if it comes down to it, Superman being my favorite comic book hero of all time, period, in existence, the greatest there is no debating this with me, it's all Superman. I'm wearing Superman pajamas right now in real life. All-Star Superman is probably one of the best. Number 2 would be on that list would probably be the Death and Return of Superman, where he fights Doomsday, dies, Lex Luthor clones him, he comes back. Real Superman comes back and fights the clone because clone goes evil. Awesome. And right after that would be Superman, Last Son of Krypton with Christopher Kent. So I also try the superheroes, comic books. I love them. They're fantastic. Superman has taught me a ton in life. So Spider-Man and the X-Men and Batman, you know, even though they're fictional characters, they've taught me things in life. So I love comic books. They are number 2 on my list. And number 1, ranking just below family, is Friends. Yes, my friends. In fact, I have 5 or 6 of my closest friends. One of them, or 7, one of them I only really talk to over Xbox, but he's still a close friend. The others I know in real life, I meet in real life. You know them. Beginning with Mal, Dusk, Miko, our friend Keith, and our friend Rickery. Or Charlton. His name's technically Charlton. Miko's real name is Heather. Dusk and Mal, I see them on a weekly basis, so I'm not going to do it because they'll hit me. Well, Mal will hit me, Dusk will just call me an asshole. But yeah. Let's see, I met Mal in 8th grade. I just moved to where I'm living now from Florida. And I met him in 8th grade. Now, at the beginning, we weren't real friends. In fact, for the most part, I knew him when we were in school. We weren't really close friends. In fact, we didn't start getting close until about our junior year in high school. We rode the bus together to the Career Center. And we just sat next to each other and talked most of the time with a friend of ours, Gavin. Big, gay, furry dude. Literally, no. He was a furry. He was gay. He's in porn now. I'm not lying. He works in porn now. So, we became closer friends. Then I eventually started going over to his house, and that's where I met Dus, his brother, older brother. Now, at first, we weren't real close friends, but over time, I became friends. And it's to the point now that I've been going over there so much, spending so much time with them, that their mom just considers me one of her sons. Technically, she calls me her daughter, because she doesn't think I'm manly enough. I'm not manly at all, really. I'm not what you would call a very masculine man, but our friend Miko, or Heather, is more manly than I am, but she's a lesbian who tries too hard to be a lesbian, so we're not going to get on the discussion, but my friends have gotten me through some really dark times in life, and I'm just grateful that they're around, because, like I said, family you can always count on. Friends are right in that boat. Family's really important, but friends are just as important, because again, you can't get through this life alone. You can't get through this life alone. So it's hard enough to do it on your own, so why try? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can plainly hear, I must go taste the dressing. That was my mom interrupted me. She's been sick too, so her voice sounds weird. I don't know if you could hear her or not, but I must go taste the dressing to see if it needs anything. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving to all of you in the States. And bye to all of you not in the States. Bye.